Happy. That's it. Just one word for a title of a game that was recommended to me by a friend. And although the gameplay of this game was a bit short, the amount of depth and complexity that this game has is much more than meets the eye. In this video, I am going to be covering my first impressions of it, as well as going over the potential themes behind one of the most ambiguous games on Roblox. I am the Epic User, and let's waste no further time. When you first spawn in the game, the first thing you see is a flat retro-style green baseplate, and the only thing that's worth checking out is the classic retro house that almost all Roblox players have seen a billion times before. What I already didn't like about this game is how you walk insanely slow, and that alone almost made me lose my mind. Eventually, we reached the front door to see that apparently today is our birthday, and there were already people inside waiting for me with a nice classic cake. But as time went on, the world started glitching out. The people started changing race colors, and all other colors of this world became highly bright and saturated. If you look closely, you'll see that these people are starting to spam texts saying that you're not supposed to be here. These texts are going to play an important role in analyzing the message behind this game, so make sure to watch until the end. The camera then starts freaking out, and we can see in the distance that there's a new person that emerged. The more we approach this guy, the more distorted the game's footage became until we got to progress to the next stage. When we respawn, we're in the same place again, except this time the entire world has gone dark and grey, and our avatar now has a sad face. When we approach the house again, we see a cutscene showcasing a slightly glowing red door emerging from the darkness of the room. We then try to approach the door, and what's strange is that when we hover our cursor over the door, our cursor transforms into a realistic pointer hand. I just thought that was a very cool detail, and this might even serve as part of the theme of this game, which I'll get into later in the video. But when we tried opening the door, it wouldn't open. Eventually, a mysterious shadowy figure by the name of Dr. Dark says to us that we'll never escape, and proceeds to lock us in some sort of red cage as he slowly advances towards us. But before he reaches us, we then move on to the next stage, where we spawn in a normal green baseplate. Right in front of us, however, is some sort of portal that leads to a darker world. Once we enter through it, the portal closes right after, trapping us in an endless expanse of darkness. At first, I walked for at least 10 minutes, seemingly finding no end with a flashlight as my only companion. In fact, I restarted the game several times because I thought I had done something wrong. Eventually, on my final attempt, I finally found a mysterious Stonehenge-like structure. The sign in front of it ordered me to say the specific line 3 times in the chat. I did say it, but nothing happened. At the center of the structure is a black monolith with white smiley faces embroidering on each side. I tried interacting with the monolith, but once again, nothing happened. This went on for a couple more minutes as I tried to figure out how to progress, but with no luck. I concluded that this was the end of the game and left. Let me know down in the comments if there is a way to progress past this stage after all. When I said that the gameplay for this was short, I really meant it. On average, the game is only about 2 to 3 minutes long if you waste no time looking at details. Yet despite the very brief gameplay of Happy, it actually has very deep themes that undermine how long it takes to finish it. The repeating text that we see from earlier represents the protagonist's inner consciousness of lacking self-love. Every time the protag enters a room full of people, doubts and negative feelings start to appear regarding whether or not they belong. Even on their birthday, they still have doubts of whether or not they belong. It just goes to show how crippling the mental state of the protag is at this point. As for the red door and the realistic mouse cursor, the red door symbolizes potential freedom for the protag from this never-ending depressing nightmare. It represents the fact that the protag always had the ability to try fixing themselves and choosing not to stay in their own dark space forever. The realistic cursor that appears when we hover over the door represents the fact that if the protag walks through the door, they'll finally be brought back to the reality they've always known before the depression hit. The shadowy figure that we see not long after, that's named Dr. Dark, most likely represents the protag's inner dark feelings manifesting to someone that they potentially hate in the real world, hence why the name even starts with Doctor. It's unclear as to who the protagonist even hates, since the game is too short, so let me know in the comments who you think it might be. The part where Dr. Dark says that we will never escape implies that no matter what the protag tries to do for themselves, they'll always fall right back to despair, showing just how messed up our mind has become at this point. The dark plane that we later find ourselves in, as well as the monolith, most likely represent the deepest, darkest depths of the protag's inner self being consumed by their depression. However, I have no idea what to make of the sign that reads that we need to repeat this phrase 3 times. Let me know down in the comments if this sign has any significance to the lore or to the theme of this game. Despite being one of the most brief psychological horror games I have ever played on this channel, it still takes the cake for taking the word cryptic to a whole new level. In conclusion, the Roblox game Happy is about someone who is going through an inner crisis in life, specifically depression. Every time it seems like the protag is finally able to come to their senses, their doubts and inner feelings appear, bringing them right back down to the bottom. But a crucial thing about this is the fact that the protag could have always had brought themselves back up. As we see with the red door, that just proves that he could have escaped. After all, despite his depression, he is still his mind. He had the power to change, but instead, he fell victim to nothing else but himself. Thank you for watching, and I am truly grateful if you have watched all the way from beginning to end. Do you agree or disagree with my take on this very short game? Let me know in the comments. If you like content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, and remember to stay epic.